If you're thinking about selling your home in 2026, don't start by calling a contractor, don't start a renovation, and definitely don't start ripping out your kitchen just yet. Because the homeowners who end up with the strongest offers and the highest sale price usually follow these 3 steps first. The problem is most sellers do it in reverse. They spend money on projects they don't need, they make updates buyers don't actually care about, and sometimes they leave thousands of dollars on the table. So before you invest $1 into your home, let me show you these 3 things that I recommend every seller do first. I'm Jennifer Lockwood. I'm a Fairfield native and I have lived in Fairfield County my entire life. And I have spent years helping buyers and sellers navigate these markets across all of these towns. And one of the things that I've learned is that what works in one market doesn't always work in another. Every town behaves differently, every price point behaves differently, and today's market is very different from what we saw even a year ago. Everything I'm sharing with you today is based on what I'm seeing firsthand right now in the market through showings, buyer feedback, listing appointments, and homes that are actually selling in Fairfield County today. As I'm filming this video, well-priced homes of Fairfield are going under contract in under 2 weeks, and we have roughly 2.2 months of inventory, which tells us something very specific about leverage as a seller right now. Every town varies, as does the energy in the market, and this is the trend across the county. Before we start, the single most useful thing I can give you is I put together a free homeowner's checklist that walks you through the steps of selling your home in Fairfield County. The link is the first thing in the description and it is pinned in the comments. So I'm going to share with you the 3 things in order, and then the 1 mistake to avoid when selling your home. So let's start with thing number 1, find out what you'll actually walk away with. Know your net, not your Zestimate. So what you need to do is figure out the real number that you walk away with after you sell your home. And I don't mean the Zestimate, and I don't even mean the list price. I mean your net proceeds, what actually lands in your bank account when the transaction is over. Here's why this matters so much. People anchor themselves to a big list price number in their head, and they build an entire plan around that number. Their next house, their down payment, their move, then they're surprised at closing. So let's take the surprise out of it right now. You have to start with an accurate value, and accurate is the key word here. What the Zestimate is a computer algorithm basically guessing from a distance. A real value for your home comes from what's actually selling in your location, on your street, in the condition of your home, and what's selling this month. Real estate also has seasons, and the energy does shift. Then we subtract the real costs of selling. So here are the big ones that you subtract. Number 1, your mortgage payoff if you're currently owning a home. The real estate commission, the buy and the list side, and here in Connecticut, the conveyance tax. The state of Connecticut charges you tax when you sell your home. Then there's attorney's fees and some other smaller fees, but those are the big ones. On the topic of commission, that's a fee for the real estate brokers involved in the sale of your home, and it's always negotiable, and it's something you and your agent would agree upon right up front in writing. What matters is for your planning, it is a line item, and you'll see it in your estimate before you even list. Then there's conveyance tax, and that tax you pay to the state and to your town when you sell your home. The rate does step up on higher priced homes in Fairfield County, and it is a tiered method. Many sellers have no idea about it until the closing statement, but I always mention it in my listing appointments. The conveyance tax surprises locals constantly. The tax has 2 parts. As I mentioned before, there's a state piece and a town piece. For most residential properties in the state of Connecticut, the state tax piece is 0.75% on the first $800,000 of sale price. It tiers up from there. And then many municipal towns is 0.25%. And they are higher in the cities. So you have to know what your municipal rate is for your particular town. So in a broader sense, you can count on a total of 1% total tax if your home is $800,000 or less. It will go up if your home is priced higher than $800,000 and also may be higher in certain cities. So as an example, if you sell your home in Fairfield for $800,000, you'll pay $6,000 to the state and $2,000 to the town, a total of an $8,000 tax coming right off the top of your sale. I typically tell my clients to count on at least 1% of tax, but it could be a little bit higher. Now let's go on to thing number 2, and that is to fix the right things and skip the money pits. This all comes down to return on your investment. So now that you know your number and what you may walk away with, do not rent out and renovate everything. The goal before selling is not a perfect house. It is the highest return with the fewest dollars spent. I watch sellers pour money into the wrong things all the time. Now, a big custom renovation right before selling rarely returns what you put into it. It helps it sell, but the ROI is not always over 100%. Meanwhile, the stuff that actually moves the needle is usually smaller, cheaper, and even faster to do. So right now, buyers are walking through the door and deciding in the first 10 seconds if they like your home. So what matters most? Fresh paint in current colors, clean light fixtures, decluttered counters, and great photos are doing more for the sale price this season than a $50,000 to $80,000 kitchen renovation. Another factor that I've noticed locally is what buyers want varies by where you are in the county. The move-in ready expectation on the coastline is different from what sells inland, where land and space carry more weight. So let me give you an example of a listing I had in Fairfield early in January. Original owner, they lived there for 60 years, never updated a thing. We ripped out the rugs, we painted, we refinished the floors, and updated the lighting. So the cost was about $20,000 worth of improvement. And the house was listed at $629,000 and sold over asking for $985,000. And it needed a new kitchen and baths. So what it showed is that when buyers walked in, the new owners didn't have to fix everything. They could move in and update over time. So the rule of thumb is before you spend $1, ask me or your agent whether that dollar comes back to you. Some do, some come back multiplied, and some never do. The cheapest fixes are always the floors, the paint, landscaping, your front door, and a garage door. The cheapest fixes often return the most dollars. So let's go on to number 3. Get your timing right. Now there's 2 parts to this. The first part is timing the market. Fairfield County has its own rhythm. Spring is traditionally the busiest season with the largest pool of buyers actively looking. And the reason for that is they want to buy a home so that they're settled for the school year. It's also when most of the sellers choose to list their homes because they think their homes look the best in the spring as flowers are blooming and the grass is turning green. Normally for sellers, that means more competition, but that's not really what we've been seeing here in Fairfield County. Even as more homes have come to the market this spring, inventory remains historically low. Buyers are still competing for a limited number of homes, especially those that are well-priced and move-in ready. And as I'm recording this in June 2026, Fairfield County has about 2.3 months of inventory, which is still considered a seller's market. In a balanced market, you typically see closer to 5 to 6 months of inventory. So while there are more listings than there were earlier this year, there still is not a lot of competition for sellers. In many cases, it's the buyers who are competing for the available supply. The truth is, there isn't one perfect month to sell. The best timing depends on your home, your goals, and your local market. And at the end of the day, pricing matters the most. Even in a seller's market, buyers know value when they see it, and homes that are priced correctly tend to generate the strongest interest and more offers. The second part of timing is the one that most people tend to overlook, and that's timing the move around your own life. If you're a current homeowner, one of the biggest decisions to face is whether to sell first or buy first. Selling first gives you certainty. You'll know exactly how much equity you have and what budget you're working with. The downside is you may need some temporary housing if you haven't found that house yet. But buying first gives you the comfort of having your next home secured, but it may mean carrying 2 properties or a bridge loan for a period of time. There's also the option of having a rent back. I've done a lot of rent back opportunities where the seller will close on their home and then rent back for up to 60 days to give them time to find their new place. I just recently did this, and my client was able to have the time to find a new home within those 60 days and close within the rent back period so that they only had to move once. Neither approach is right for everyone. The best choice really depends on your finances, your comfort level, and how much flexibility you have. It's a conversation worth having before your home hits the market, and definitely not after. So finally, let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes I see sellers make, and that is letting the online estimate or a neighbor's asking price influence what they think their home is worth. It's tempting to think, let's start high and see what happens. but that's usually not the strategy that gets sellers the best results. The reality is that your home gets the most attention when it first hits the market. Buyers are watching closely for new listings, and that is when you have the greatest opportunity to create excitement and attract strong offers. If a home comes out priced too high, buyers often move on before they even step through the door. Then price reductions follows, days on market increase, and sellers lose the momentum they had on day one. On the other hand, when homes are priced correctly from the start, it can attract more showings, more interest, and sometimes even more competing offers. I've seen that happen time and time again throughout Fairfield County. Pricing isn't about picking the highest number a seller hopes to get. It's about understanding the market, the competition, the buyer demand, and how your home compares to what is currently available on the market. The right price is different for every home, every neighborhood, and every moment in the market. And that's why an automated valuation or a headline about the market can only tell part of the story. The real value comes from understanding what's happening on the ground right now and how buyers are responding to homes like yours today. Even if you're thinking about selling, the first step is simple. Find out what your home is worth in today's market and what you might realistically walk away with after the cost of selling. If you're wondering if now is the right time to sell, which updates are worth it for you to make, or whether it makes more sense to sell first or buy first, I'm always happy to have that conversation. I'm Jennifer Lockwood. I've spent years helping buyers and sellers throughout Fairfield County, and I know that every move comes with its own set of questions. And when you're ready to talk through your options, who knows the local market and understands the nuances of these towns, I would love to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.